Quiet on the set.
No.
Action. Action.
Hello, YouTube fans. It is Dr. Matthew Johnson and
Cynthia Kreitzberg.
it is Sunday morning, September 23rd, 2018, 9:59 a.m. in the morning. And we've got all these people here in our house. Help! Help! Okay, actually they're really nice people. And we spent last night out in various places all over the 10 acres, and everyone's going to share what they saw, what they heard, what they felt, or maybe somebody didn't, and they'll say that too. So we're going to start going that way. Hi.
Hi,
Who are you and where are you from?
I'm Jane from Ohio. This is my second visit to the CIA, and last night I heard a lot of coyotes. Now I can't remember if it was, oh, actually when we all sat down, the coyotes came, well there was a yell, some kind of yells, and then the coyotes seemed to have responded. And then actually throughout the night I heard the coyotes 3 different times. When I went to bed, I heard them again. Something pulled the blanket off of my bed and I realized it was probably the dog. But I didn't see any orbs or anything last night, and I did have problems sleeping, but that was probably because I was too overtired. But not much happened as far as just listening to coyotes, and I don't know if there were coyotes or yells and coyotes, but it was at the 12 o'clock position and the 6 o'clock position.
Okay.
That's it.
I'm Stuart Barger from Royal City, Washington. Anybody else from Washington?
Yeah.
All right. I heard the coyote, and then I started hearing some whoops, and I heard a whoop that started to seem like about the 4 o'clock, well, 2 o'clock, and it seemed to go all the way around here to 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And at that time, I was just wide awake for some reason. I don't know why, but I think I heard like 3 or 4 little tiny footsteps, and it felt like there was something there, and goosebumps went from my head to my toes, and I said, "Thank you, I love it." And then I went back to sleep. So
Cool.
I'm Cindy. I belong to him. I heard some coyotes and a yell when we first went and sat down out there, and kind of fell asleep in my lawn chair, and then got up, went to my cot, and went to sleep, and had a nice, cozy, warm, comfortable night's sleep. And that was it for me.
Okay.
I'm Cindy Johnson, and I didn't go to bed till about 11 o'clock. I didn't do the night sit because I was baking cinnamon rolls. So once I got done, I walked down and delivered some cinnamon rolls to the table that we'd set up for the Janu, and I don't know if they've hit that or not, and it doesn't matter either way, but while I was doing that, I could hear the coyote yelps all around, and I wondered why everybody went to bed, because I was seeing little lights everywhere and hearing vocals. I could hear chattering off in the distance, and I couldn't figure out why did everybody go to bed with all this stuff going on. And then I went to bed and I could hear them down in the brush below me. Somebody was walking around, and everybody was in bed, but somebody off to the far side of the field was walking in the woods and trampling over stuff, and I could hear muttering and like somebody talking somewhere. So that's all I had last night.
I'm Jimmy Ho from Atlanta, Georgia. I was so expecting to have some kind of experience, keep on waiting, but fall asleep. When I wake up, chilly, cold, and then daylight. Go sleep. This is my whole life, the first time I sleep outside.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow, great.
Thank you, God, for giving me the chance. It's wonderful.
Good.
My name is Natasha Sisko. I'm coming from Silverdale, Washington. I'm a sister from Jimmy Ho. This is also my first time I ever sleep outdoor, and to me it's really experience. And I never tried. I don't really know what to expect, you know. So when I sleep in the sleeping bag, and I found it very cold, you know, and I was shivering. I didn't know what to expect. And then later on, I said, I'm so cold. And then I think later on, Dr. Johnson, Dr. J, he brought me a sleeping bag, you know, on top of my bag. And I was chill before, then I became so hot. I don't know what to do. So I opened myself up. It was so cold. So I've been coming in, coming out. You know, I've been very busy last week. And then now I was just trying to get myself chill off, you know. And I've been trying to, you know, not get so cold, not get so hot. Oh boy. So, and I think that's why John would let me alone, you know, because I've never been alone. Busy, you know. So I was busy. So, but they didn't visit me. So, I was very happy, you know, last night. Yeah. And thank you for the opportunity. I did not realize the fresh air when I sucked it went all the way through my body, top to all the way body. I was really happy. And because that experience, you know, and I finally got calmed down. And this morning, before it's really light, I saw all the stars, you know, and finally I see the shooting star. I never see so many beautiful stars in my life, you know. Every time I look up there, there's always beautiful lights, you know, maybe big, you know, the restaurant light, the casino light, you know, all that kind of light. Not this kind of starlight. To me, it's really fantastic, you know. Thank you, Dr. Johnson.
Yeah, thank you. Phaedra, can we
Thank
get
you.
to the scene?
Yeah. Hi, Phaedra Romero from Phoenix, Arizona. And last night I heard the Coyotes too and some other vocalizations mixed in with that may or may not have been Coyotes. And then for the evening, I pretty much froze my butt off and I'm not going to make that mistake again tonight. Didn't really have much of anything happen while I was sleeping.
Hi, Sharon Byerly from Belfair, Washington. I didn't see anything, but I couldn't sleep because I was so constricted and confined, so I had to go up to the bedroom and rip my clothes off and get comfortable. Whoops. But no, I'm really enjoying myself. This is fabulous. I had a wonderful time. And I did hear the coyotes and what I thought was a whoop earlier, and then I think I heard maybe some sticks breaking, and I seen a shooting star.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Hello. Is this close enough? My name is Christine Barkley from Los Angeles, California. And the first night, which was Friday, it was raining all night. So I just had my head sticking out in between the showers. And when an entity from another dimension comes, you can feel the cold, and it was freezing. Just for my face, which was sticking out of the blanket. And also that night, when it was raining, I heard footsteps at the 2 o'clock and the 7 o'clock position at the same time. So 2 different people at the same time was walking around in the rain. And someone else heard footsteps that night too, so she might tell you. And last night, I didn't know you weren't supposed to whoop back, so I'm so sorry. But I had a blast, and they kept whooping back, and I ended up whooping at 3 at a time, and they whooped back at 3 at a time, and for some reason, I got quiet. But then they did it 2 more times from the 2 o'clock position. And that was it. Oh, lots of lights last night. Lots of lights.
Hi, I'm Karen from Rainier, Washington. And Brian and I were sitting together, so I'm going to let him finish this story, but I'll start it. We saw lots and lots of lights, and this was my first experience seeing the orbs and lots of lights. It was really fun. And we would check in. Do you see the one over there? Yep. Do you see the one over there? Yep. There's about 3 over there? Yep. So it was really fun to have that we collaborated on the same thing. And we were curious to make sure that we weren't looking at moonlight because the moon was very bright. And so Brian did an experiment, and now I'm going to let Brian finish this story.
Okay, Brian Moore from Hillsboro, Oregon.
Yeah, we had quite a light show last night. It was really wonderful. But the moon was breaking through, and the moonshine was coming down through the trees, and it would light up part of the ground, and it would light leaves, and so I was very skeptical. But we saw very, very intense, like laser beam light. Like you look in the sky and you see the stars that are really, really bright, intense. We saw those all over. And I said, Karen, how many do you see? She said, I can't count. And I said, I'm going to walk up to them. I'm going to see if that's really what we're seeing. So I got up and I started talking to them and walking forward, and I got within 10 feet. They all went black, all at once. They all went off. And it startled me, and I said, oh, I'm so sorry. And I backed up. I said, I'll go sit back down. And I got about halfway back to my chair, and one by one, they all started lighting back up again. So we just sat and enjoyed what was going up in the clearing up above, people talking, the song, the music, the coyote howls that were happening all over and down to our left and across the wetlands. We could hear it from all over, all different directions. So we were kind of in a position to hear it going on all around us. And mixed in with those coyotes were other sounds that just sounded off. And it was a lot of fun. We sat and laughed at the lights. It was just really, really very enjoyable.
Make sure I didn't push a button. No, it's still blinking.
See if it's plugged in. I'm going to go around back, if that's okay.
Hi, I'm Steve from El Dorado Hills, California. Our night sit, like everybody else, I think we heard the coyotes and the initial call, and then the coyotes respond, which is pretty cool. For our sleep, my wife and I slept down on the trail about 50 feet below the shed, and I was facing the hillside, the uphill side, and 3 times during the night I had foot stomps come right up to me, to my back, and I was actually facing the hill, and right above me the canopy was open, so the hillside was pretty lit pretty well. I mean, there was the ferns and things, you could really see the silhouettes of them. As soon as it came up to my side and turned, everything went black, all 3 times. And so I was talking to him in my mind, and I did also feel like just on my foot. That was my experience last night. It's fun.
Perfect.
I'm Karen, I go with Steve. I slept, and then I didn't sleep, and I enjoyed the stars. It was wonderful.
I woke up.
Hi, I'm Elaine, Randy's wife, and we came Friday night. And Friday night, this way? Yeah. Okay. Friday night, I think I saw a twinkling light, but I wasn't confident of myself, so I didn't say anything. And then last night, we heard the wolves, or whatever they were, coyotes, and that was great. And I went to bed and slept very, very well, obviously. I just got up, and it was wonderful, the music, everything, but I didn't have any experiences last night.
Patty, can you move over, please? And out of the sun?
Yep.
Keep going.
The spotlight.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Patty from Whidbey Island, Washington. Yay. I did an experiment last night. Most of the time I'll sleep around with, boy, that doesn't sound good. Not true, honey, not true. No, I usually be with other people. That still doesn't sound good, but I decided to go off by myself, and I was really proud of myself. I went up to where the propane tank is, so I was just totally by myself, and I was scouting it during the day, and I thought, this could be cool. I'll be all by myself. And then when I got up there after it was dark and I'm laying down, I think, I'm all by myself. This is kind of weird. So I had to kind of calm myself. I was like, it's okay, they're not going to hurt you. It's okay, there's nothing here that's going to hurt you. But I felt it was really comfortable up there. Stars were gorgeous. And I heard footfalls a little bit down the base of my cot a couple of times. One time I woke up really quickly and something woke me up. I have no clue what it was. But it was just a really, really comforting, really nice night. Thanks.
Thank you. No, over there.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Melissa. I'm from
There we go.
Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My night was pretty uneventful. I did hear the coyotes, and I know that was a distinct Janu call or something, just because of the range, and then it kind of went, ay, like afterwards, and I don't think coyotes can do that, but it lasted a long, long time. I didn't really see any lights, but I think we all must have been seeing the same shooting star at the same time, because I seen that this morning probably about 5 o'clock, 5:30. As soon as I opened my eyes, that's the first thing I seen. That went across the sky, so I thought that was kind of neat. And I just kind of laid there and looked at the stars. It was absolutely beautiful. So that's all for me.
Thank you. Oops, go ahead and pick it up and keep telling it. Yeah, lean out of the sunlight.
I am Randy from Minnesota. The night started out with, I heard that yell, and then the coyotes followed, and it was kind of hard to see things with the moonlight. You know, there was a lot of false images and everything. You're always questioning yourself. But I did see 2 white flashes, one down the trail and one about at 2 o'clock. And then I saw about 6 red things, 4 dots, 4 flashes, and then a couple smears, but they're always in the periphery of my vision, and I'd immediately look at them and they disappear on me. So I don't know what those were. You're always questioning yourself when you see things like that. And that was about it the night. And I woke up at 5 a.m. and I heard another yell way over here, 9 o'clock. And then the coyote started again at 3. And that was about it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Santa Claus from the North Pole. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, I sort of live in Green Bay, Wisconsin from time to time. Last night, the one thing, besides the coyotes that we experienced, Ty, myself, and Jane, we were watching Dr. J play his music, and out of our peripheral vision on the trail to the left from the 12 o'clock position, some dark shadow, as dark as the trees, crossed the trail. And later on, it was validated more so by someone walking down the trail with a flashlight back up this way, and they were much, much shorter. I mean, they would have been 2 foot high versus what went across the trail. It almost seemed as tall as the trees, but it did flash through the trail. Like Randy, we sat quite late. I think David was the other one that was hanging in there with us. It was hard to differentiate the light because of, you know, the strength of the moon last night. But anyways, when I laid back down, I started watching for my elves practicing with the reindeer and the sleighs in the sky. But all I did see was the stars and quite a few satellites that had crossed our paths. But other than that, during the night, no other sounds, noises, or sights.
Hi, Kirsty from Vancouver, BC, Canada, and there was a lot last night, so I'm just gonna do data points and then people can kind of interpret. So first off, that loud, screamy thing. When it first went off, I'm just like, that is not an animal, but then it's too much of a lung power for any human. It was actually remarkable. It was, wow, that was something else. Second thing would be, sorry, I just kind of blanked out there. Oh, did anybody hear the clacking?
Yes.
There was a couple of sets of clack, and I've never heard that before in my life, and it definitely sounded like 2 kind of smooth kind of rocks being clicked together. So that, I heard that. Never heard that before, ever. And then there was at one point, with the moonlight, it was really difficult to differentiate, because last time there was a whole bunch of orbs here, and, well, I shouldn't say orbs, there was a bunch of lights and things that twinkling and different colors, etc., etc. And this time it was difficult to differentiate, but I did see about maybe, it would have been my 3 o'clock, and there was about 30 feet in the air, there was a red light, like out of nowhere. So it just looked like it was like on a tree. And then at another point, there was some kind of, something was going on, and I can't remember if it was, oh yeah, there was like an owly sound, and you know, I'm not no outdoor expert, you know, bird, I don't know all owl sounds. This did not sound like an owl. It was very strange, and it was twice that maybe it was more than that. Maybe it was 3 times.
3 times.
It was 3 times, and it just didn't really sound like an owl to me, but it was very distinct, almost mechanical. Like it was just, that was strange. And then in all of the excitement of a few things that went down, Tracy, you were standing up and you were talking to somebody, and I kind of like leaned forward and I was trying to hear what you guys were saying. And then all of a sudden, well, I thought it was Maynard right behind me, like right here, just standing there. And you know how when somebody's looking over your shoulder when you're on the computer or something, it's kind of irritating because you just want them to come in. Like, don't stand there and hover. Come on. So finally, like they were standing there, and then finally I just went like that, and there was nobody there. There was nobody there. Like it was in my periphery, there was somebody there, and then when I looked, there was absolutely nobody there. But then I didn't get scared at all, and there was a very warm, loving feeling. So I didn't freak out or think that anything like that. And then
Wait. So Maynard can cloak.
No.
It wasn't Maynard because I looked over and he was like a ways away. So there was just like basically nobody there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, and lastly, so I ended up just going to bed because I kind of got cold, and then I had an uneventful sleep, and that was pretty much it. I hope I didn't forget anything, but yeah, that was it.
Thank you.
I'm Tracy Bose in Pendleton, Oregon, and
Center of what?
Center of the universe. That is correct.
And weak fields.
Not a whole lot happened with me. No, there was actually a whole lot of things going on last night, but of note for me is probably the whoops. My daughter and I are at the far end of the trail on the 3 o'clock position, and she wanted to be at the end of the trail all by herself, and so she went clear down there, and I had helped her go down there to set up the concert or the sleeping bags, and we happened to be clear over on that side when the whoops came, and I live in coyote country, coyote heaven country, and I'm just saying that whatever coyote was out there last night had a lung capacity of an elephant.
Yes.
And but that was pretty cool. And then we came back into the meadow area after that, and then she decided she wanted to do her own sit at the end of the trail and asked me to help her, and so I took her chair with her back out to there. No sooner did we get back out to where she wanted to sit, and they started whooping again. And Dr. J said they just wanted to say that they were happy to have her here. And by the way, it's her birthday today.
Good one.
So happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brittany. Happy birthday to you.
How old are you? Make a wish. There we go.
Thank you guys, I feel very loved, thank you. Okay, well now I'm a little nervous. I'd actually like to take a minute to share something that happened not last night, but the night before, and I'm gonna get emotional. So my dad and I, we were sleeping on cots together, next to each other, and I went to bed before he did. And I was sleeping under my tarp, and I heard footsteps approaching me, and it wasn't my dad's walk. I know my dad's walk very well. And somebody lifted my tarp. And I was like, all right, creeper, get out of here. but no, like the feeling that I had, it was very peaceful. I knew that it wasn't any of you guys. And I let it be, and in my mind I was like, cool, thanks, I'm glad you're comfortable. Feel free to come back. And then I heard Dad come to bed, and then I fell asleep, and I immediately awoke from a dream, and all of a sudden I heard just these really short, like these really short strides, running up the trail towards me. And sorry guys, I'm a mom, and so when it comes to little ones, I get pretty. It's pretty special for me. But there's maybe 2 or 3, but there was one for sure, and I heard it, and, like they were giggling, and I heard one run right up to my tarp, like right up to my cot, and the tarp was still on me, but I could feel its hand touch my back. And as soon as it touched my back, just this wave of energy, it was like ripples all over my body, and it lasted for maybe a couple minutes, and then all of a sudden just these huge footprints, like huge footsteps, just come up the trail, and I heard it twice, and I wasn't scared by any means. I didn't feel like I was threatened. In all honesty, I felt very honored that I'm going to assume that it was a father or a protector of sorts, just watching over the little one. And then, so that was that night, and then last night, like Dad said, I was at the very, very end of the trail. I really wanted to be alone. It doesn't scare me or anything, but last night, nothing like the night before, but there was a lot of movement around me. The whoops were very close. There was a lot of vocalizations right there, right close to me. Like I said, I didn't experience anything like that before, but I knew that they were there. I could hear them walking around, and I could hear the vocalizations.
Awesome.
Happy birthday, Kristen.
Yeah.